Hey guys, Zen here, and Operation Neon Dawn is going to be one of the most impactful seasons we've ever had in Rainbow Six Siege. The updates being made are making a core difference to the meta, and what's been the norm since the beginning is being altered in some pretty substantial ways. And so in this video, we're circling back and going over 8 changes that are completely new with Neon Dawn. For those just joining us, this should get you perfectly ready for it all, and to you guys who tune into every detail, hopefully you get a new insight here. Now, this video is sponsored by Ubisoft, and they want you guys to know that the Neon Dawn Battle Pass is currently available and runs from December 1st through February 22nd of 2021. Of course, there's a free track for the Battle Pass, and you can unlock a bunch of unique gear and rewards simply for playing Rainbow Six Siege. My personal favorite is the Factory Precursor weapon skin, where it actually completely changes the look of the revolver, and I'm a sucker for this kind of stuff. It literally looks like a completely new weapon. And so guys, check the top link in the description to learn more about the new Battle Pass, and let's get it started. Alright, so to start at number 1, we have to speak about Ashe, the #1 attacker in Rainbow Six Siege, because she's getting a change this season that's honestly a big deal for her. So Ashe is losing her flashbangs here, but in return, she's getting another breaching round, upping the count to 3. Now, since literally day 1, Ashe has always had 2 breaching rounds, and because of her popularity, those 2 explosions are something that as a defender, you're kind of always aware of. So by removing the flashes, the devs hope to give her less projectiles overall, and this of course because of the nerfs coming to the catchers in the game. Ashe only has 3 projectiles now, instead of the usual 5, and so she won't have as much throwable utility, but she will carry more explosive utility, and that could be game-changing in this new meta. Personally, I think this is going to make Ashe a little less aggressive, especially with that early game push she's known for, but I also think it's going to slow her down quite a bit, considering how long it takes to use and reload the breacher. This is honestly a change I think has been slept on since it was revealed, and for me, it's fundamentally changing the most popular operator of all time for Rainbow Six Siege. Next up at number 2 is a few updates to Ranked. And so for starters, Outback is gone. The Australian map has been binned out of the Ranked map pool, and for some, it may call for a bit of a celebration. Look, Outback was banned over 80% of the time by at least one team, and so I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't play a single round on the map in Ranked at all this past season. I was able to play a total of 3 games on Outback all season long out of over 300 matches, and with Operation Neon Dawn, that number will default to 0. The problem with Outback, I think for a lot of people, is that it is one of, if not the most defender-favored maps ever in Rainbow Six, but it's also incredibly destructible. Like to the point that if you're on one of the lower sites, it can make it almost impossible to hold down the objective. And so the devs have finally kicked it from the competition after nearly 2 years of it being one of the maps that the player base just hasn't been a fan of. The other update is happening with the diffuser. So first of all, they're introducing a brand new no drop zone around the edges of the objective that's supposed to help with accidental drops of the diffuser around the bomb site. Imagine you're going for a fast plant with Monty and you want to plant the diffuser right on the edge of a doorway so you don't have to be fully in the site to get it down. Well, now it can be difficult because if you're not exactly in the right spot, you'll drop the diffuser and need to go and pick it up. With this update, that won't be the case, and you'll be able to line up exactly where the objective starts and get the plant off right on the edge. This is actually a huge deal because in the event you accidentally drop it, retrieving it can be dangerous. But it also makes it so that you're not able to pass the diffuser to a teammate in these areas as well, and so whoever has the diffuser really has to commit to it. They're also making it so that you can plant right at your feet, like directly on your toes, so that the operator isn't reaching as far and possibly interfering with other gadgets or furniture in the area. I actually really like this change, and I think in those super intense moments, it'll come in clutch and make an important impact. Up next at number 3 is something I think has been long overdue, but it's the fact that Finka actually counters a gadget now and brings more utility for the attacking side. So this is all about the synergy between Aruni and her Surya Gate and Finka's nanobots. As we know, Aruni is the latest addition to Team Rainbow, and her gate is one of the most oppressive gadgets the attackers have to deal with. It blocks them out of multiple areas, it disrupts their projectiles, and it also deals a ton of damage to whatever attacker touches it. To top it off, it's completely indestructible, and so unless you take out Aruni somehow before she places them all, they'll always have some kind of effect on the round. Now, Finka is surprisingly one of the best counters to the gadget because her adrenal surge can actually soak up the majority of the damage it'll deal, and so being coordinated and using it at the right time can make a play. So the gate does 30 damage, and Finka's temporary health can supply 20 health at the press of a button, and so if you're sure of a push but need to pass through the gate, a simple call out to Finka can pull it all together and turn a 3rd-degree burn into a minor scratch at the end of the day. A lot of people have been looking for a way to hard counter this indestructible gadget, and I think Finka is currently the best option. The key is to work together and push the button just before you hop through. Otherwise, Finka will only help temporarily afterward, and you'll still essentially lose the full 30 health. Moving over to number 4 is the faster reinforcement speed on defense. So in switching back and forth between live servers and the TS, I immediately missed this feature because it just makes the prep phase so much quicker to set up up, and it especially helps if you're the only one putting up walls. I think after the update that introduced the reinforcement pool, the devs realized they needed an answer to the one guy being the only guy putting up the walls. Prior to this, everyone came with two, and so it was basically mandatory to do your part and put up your reinforcements. But now, and honestly for good reason, maybe one or two players puts up the walls while the roamers head off and find a spot where the trap operators move out to place their gadgets. This update seriously helps those of us who build up the site, and with how much utility is placed like barbed wire or proximity alarms, it helps to get that slight boost to prep time, and it makes all the difference. Number 5 is something I still struggle with, but it's the massive nerf to Echo. So for those who haven't kept up, Echo's yokai drone will no longer go invisible at all. Traditionally, if you cruise the yokai drone around and stick it to the ceiling, after a few seconds, it'll go completely invisible, and it's always been a standout feature of the gadget. Now though, no matter where this thing is, it'll stay completely visible, and it's something that's going to take some time to get accustomed to. So yeah, I'm still not totally for the change, mainly because I think the yokai had its counters, and it's also a great way to prevent a plant in those super close moments, but this is mainly being done to counteract Echo's consistently high ban rate, which I do see as a part of the meta that could see an adjustment. Now, one thing I began to consider is that, maybe it's time for a new kind of Echo meta. He's always been one of those operators that's been played the same way basically since the beginning. You set up a yokai on site and another close by, and you basically never decloak them, and you use them to watch over the site, and at the very last moment, prevent a plant with the sonic burst. The creativity of using Echo has kind of settled, and I guess if anything, this change will force new ways of using him, and for me, I think there's the possibility of roamer support. Instead of keeping yokai on site and risk it being easily spotted, you can send it out to follow a roamer around and support them with intel or a sonic burst to set up an early pick. I don't want to draw the conclusion that plant denial is dead for Echo, but honestly, if it's anywhere around attackers trying to plant, it'll be incredibly easy to spot and take out, and so out of all of these changes, I think Echo will need to make the most change, and it'll be intriguing to see how it plays out, or if Echo is just doomed. At number 6, there's one of the biggest changes we've ever had in Rainbow Six Siege, and it's the rework to Jager. So I still get a lot of questions about this one, but essentially what's changed is that the ADS now works on a 10-second timer. So it destroys a grenade, and then it won't be able to take anything else out for another 10 seconds. Afterward, it comes back online, takes out another nade, and the cycle goes on infinitely because the ADS now has unlimited charges. And so there's two sides of the coin here. On the one side, the ADS can't take out back-to-back nades, and it opens up more ability for the attackers to get that second frag grenade off or make a push with a concussion. But on the other, it is now an infinite gadget that will always have an effect on the round until it's destroyed. But it's pretty clear that something more had to be done because season after season, Jager was literally off of the charts, and it was apparent that even after a speed nerf, the removal of ACOG, and Wamai being in the game, he was just always picked and always in the round. Now, if I'm honest, I think Jager is still going to be top tier, and some have even said that this could even be a buff, and so I don't want to speak too early here, but this one will be felt for the remainder of Rainbow Six Siege. Next up at number 7 is the huge upgrade to Hibana, and this one is my personal favorite. She can now choose 6, 4, and 2 X-Kairos pellets, and the versatility of this hard breacher is unmatched. Hibana has been overshadowed by Ace since he was introduced because their utility is very similar. She did always have the advantage with hatches, but in almost every other way, Ace just outperformed her. But this change really gives Hibana her own identity, and I think most players will find interesting ways to use the 18 pellets she has, because even when you look at just hatches, she can now open 4 in total with another shot left over. So there isn't too much to elaborate on here because it's one of those small tweaks that makes a big difference. And then finally, at number 8, the runout timer. As you guys know, it's been changed to just 1 second, and so to keep this one short and sweet, you either fully commit and you know exactly where to look, or you get spotted and risk it all. Either way you look at it, if you're either for it or against it, it's going to slow down defense a bit and give the advantage to the attackers, and it'll either increase the pick rate of a Valk or a Pulse, or people would just opt out of using those tactics and live to tell the tale. This is another really impactful change, similar to when the runout timer was decreased for the first time, and this is basically as far as it goes for those that just don't agree with the mechanic in the first place. So yeah, guys, that's gonna do it for the video. Here's another reminder that the Neon Dawn Battle Pass is out from December 1st through February 22nd, and to check it out with the link in the description. Another thank you to Ubisoft for sponsoring, and hey, if you're a little disappointed about the change to Ash, she's got a brand new uniform in the Battle Pass that's pretty nutty and should make up for it, right? If you guys did enjoy this one, drop a like and subscribe to the channel with post notifications. I appreciate all the support, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Hey, I'm out.